Hello, the best song. This is the best song ever. Okay, 3, 4, 4. Watch me working. I'm perfect. Watch me working. I'm perfect. Look, wow, this I am working. Look at that, working. Once again, working. My office. I work. That's how I do. I'm perfect. Watch me. I'm working. It's Saturday night. I show you the time. This is my clock. Here it is. 9 p.m. How to prove, right? Because I need to prove everything I do, right? I have to prove everything I do. So let's first switch off the phone. Maybe this is enough evidences that I'm working that Saturday night. Look, it says here on my phone. It says here on my phone. Saturday. Is that readable there? This camera it's the opposite. It's real for legal purposes. Where's this camera? Where's the opposite here? Because I'm using the computer. So for Saturday. Yeah, it is not. Let me see. Yeah, the conditions are very poor. The things that I didn't receive my payments. I'm waiting for my payments. I work and then I give credit and I'm waiting for my payments. Okay, so this is how this camera works. It's the opposite. I have to go to this. Let me see there. 14. It's like talking to a mirror, but anyways, it's 14, maybe the other phone. I have to do evidences of everything. So maybe, because that's what I learned with all the slandering, all the defamation. I need to take a photograph and include somewhere that today is Saturday night, that today is 14. I was trying to do all these devices online. The cell phones, they're more up to date, accurate or better but they're horrible for streaming and sharing and saving so I'm using just a laptop. Here I guess it says it does not show. Well, the next video I'll put it very, very big because I know that this camera does not, but you can see here again. Maybe see that there. Oh, that I think now we go. See 8. I think there's real. Any good detective can see that Saturday, 14th September, 8:54 p.m. and I am working. Okay, why? Because I'm working a lot. I need to do extra work, and that's why all the lawsuits they include. That's by law. It's not me. A lot of people are becoming confusing because with all this slandering, all the defamation, they call me an imposter. There was a girl that she was assisting me, and she said she was feeling like a scammer to make her rights, our rights, positive, and for them to happen. She was feeling herself a scammer by the American legal system. The American legal system made her feel she was a scammer because she was trying to make me receive my payments. So she was helping me, but her perception of the legal system is that she was working for a scammer, because that's how she understands the laws in the USA, and that's the status of the legal system in the USA. It's a broken system. So, but the laws are there. The country was not created in 2016, 18, 19, was not created today. It's a country that has maybe more 240 years, I guess, right? And or more, right? I think it's 1786, 17. I need to read again. I work in so many different countries that I get very stupid sometimes in details. Even the USA is a country that I work most of the time for like 20 years. But so let's go back to what I'm doing. Okay, so this is my office today, so everybody knows, because this video is obviously one more of the massive amount of documents that are being used in these lawsuits. I'm the owner of this company, LEGroup. I created this company 12 years ago. the website LEGroupIndustries.com. It's for sales. What I do is sales. I'm a sales guy. I have a college degree in import-export. I speak 4 languages very fluent, and in my career I end up being more focused on sales, because everybody knows, everybody that studies business and marketing or all this business related professions, they know that you have several. Once you have a business degree, you have several, let's put the logo in the back. You have several interfaces that you can work. Some of my colleagues, they work in finance, others work in logistics, others that work in import-export. There's several. So in my case, it's sales. I do international sales, so I'm the guy that travels all over the world saying, hello, how are you doing? My name is Augustin. I'll explain to you why this book is better than that book, why you should read this book instead of reading that book. But that book costs $2.99. This book costs $15.99. Oh, it's $12 more. Why? Yes. The first book I have said was encyclopedias. I started my career selling encyclopedias. So I was 16. I'll travel the whole world with samples and selling encyclopedias and getting my commissions. There are several contracts when you do sales. A lot of companies, they pay for your costs, they pay for your travel costs, they pay. That's how it works, and you always have commissions. So usually you have 2 options when you want to hire somebody to do the commercial or the sales. You can be internal, external. There are several agreements. There's always a compensation. And this person is the person who's going to be working on your behalf in the market. I started a local when I was 16, but since 1999, 20 years ago, my career is international. I work all over the world, and I may have interacted with almost every country in the whole world in 20 years. And physically, I have been to a lot of different countries. I just came from India, United Arab Emirates, and Finland, for example. I was there for those countries for like 2 weeks, visiting suppliers, contacts, and doing what I do, which is business. And so, the case of this video today is to give an update on how the lawsuits are going. I have a lot of questions, okay? First, about my person, because unfortunately, for the first time in my life, I have been very, very harshly victim of slandering and defamation. Slander and defamation is always there, but in this case, it was organized crime against me. We're not sure exactly who was the orchestrated. It seems there was a businessman from Dallas, Texas, from Plano, Texas. His name is Jamey Williams. He's already been reported to the authorities in Texas and also the federal government of the United States. It's a family. Their names are Williams, Jamey Williams, Logan Williams, his son, and his wife, Carolyin Williams. They own a distribution company of cheese. This company, okay, this is one of the companies, but anyways, I was victim of slander and defamation, so that's the first. No, I am here, I'm the same person, no changes, no, I'm the same. I am very healthy, look, 2 arms, legs, I'm walking, I'm moving, nothing has happened to me. I have friends and family that were, because I had to be really not exposed. I'm not giving my precise location online for over 1 year. The thing is, the results of my work have always been very high, so I'm familiar with some safety procedures. I have done self-defense myself, so I know a bit of self-defense. I went to military school, not school, but clubs. My father was partially in the military, so I'm familiar with a lot of things related to safety, self-protection, all that. That's why I work all over the world. I work with any country. I have no problems, and I know how to protect myself, especially from violence. Okay, the #1 reason on the looting that I suffered last year was to protect my personal safety. Everybody knows that I was victim with very violent and aggressive actions against me in my office and in Tala, Dublin. I was temporarily working in Tala and ended up trapped in a situation that I had to evacuate this office. I was assessed by 3 police officers. They came to the office and they assisted me on the last chapters of this episode of leaving my office. I was attacked personally. I managed not to make the violence reach physical levels because that was my concern, and that's why the police was present. They were cooperating in order for this problem to be solved in a peaceful manner. And this I was afraid that this man would be maybe throwing objects to me or things like that. Okay, so that didn't happen. That didn't happen, but there was one day that I was trying to go to the police station and my car was even blocked on the street. A girl, she's involved also in this case. She just blocked my car. I was living and on the streets, and this girl, she just pulled her car back and I was blocked. So with all this violence against me, I managed to be protected. I tried with the insurance companies because I had travel insurance, but it was a fiasco. I ended up in all these no situations, unfortunately. I'm very frustrated with a lot of things in the world today that I do not even want to talk about that today. I need to focus on my own problem here. But yes, the insurance was a fiasco. I was talking to insurance brokers, whatever. I just needed my payment, get my problem solved. I managed to have a travel insurance problem way less. It's something that if I wasn't smart enough, I would end up in a hospital or something. They'll have to cover maybe a $100,000 bill on medical. You managed to not to have the problem and incur in other, and the insurance companies, I don't know, whatever. So I don't even want to talk about that. But anyways, that problem was solved. I was assisted when it comes to crimes against life. I was okay. I was assisted by the police. They even advised me that my priority, and that was the months of June, July, and September of 2018 in Dublin, Ireland. The priority was me not to make the gangsters to understand that I was not a source, that I was not a source, because I was being extorted. I was receiving emails from Canada. I was receiving emails from Dublin asking for cash payments for money. And it was very strange. There is a lot of rice was sent to the Caribbean on very shady, very strange situation, very malicious contracts, and payments were not received. And then I received all these oceans of emails, and then there was this massive slander and defamation. There was a gangster from Malta, is a Libya citizen. He's living there. He was sending me threats. I was receiving live threats and crazy stuff. But anyways, unfortunately, I'm disappointed with the police in Ireland, because they did manage to protect me against these crimes that was being conducted. But on the other hand, they never gave me the post number of this case. The post number is something that I have here in this book that I'm selling now. I'm selling lawsuits, basically. And the post is this document that the Irish police gives when they report a crime. So the problems that I was victim of in 2019, this is a post. Can you see there? This is a post report from the Irish police. Unfortunately, they didn't give this to me last year, possibly because these gangsters, they bribed the police. They gave them money for them not to do so. But my number one concern was my life, so I ended up being assisted by the American embassy and also the Italian embassy, because everybody knows that I'm Irish on my dad's side, but my father never applied for Irish citizenship. So I live in Europe as an Italian citizen because I'm Italian on my mom's side. and I own a company in the USA, which is where I lived, where I came from, where I have Social Security. I pay tax in the USA every year, and my business is all mostly based in the USA, so I go there often. So my company is American. My brands are registered in the USA. So I have some, as my company is an American entity, even if myself I'm not American, but I was assisted by the American Embassy when I managed to do a document, and it happened to be on 9/11, 2018, when I went to the American Embassy because that was the only available day. I needed to make this document as soon as possible, when I legally registered all the crimes I was being victim of, and also because I'll tell the biggest problem, okay, which is all of this seems small, because all of this, I believe, it's just life. I've been robbed and looted, and that happens. It can happen to any family. It can happen it can be a fire. It's an accident, violence. They are there. Unfortunately, I'm very successful on what I do, and usually that causes a lot of confusion, because I need to manage jealousy. I need to manage safety, security, because once you a lot of times friends and colleagues will be saying, oh, but it's safe, okay, but once you're talking about $1,000, $2,000, one thing. Once you're talking about $100,000, $45,000, it's a different scenario. Even $5,000, it's already a different scenario. Usually you are out of the law because of the amount of money involved. So this is the common people do not understand. Usually, a lot of times you have the laws, you have the security, you have the safety, and everybody. Oh, but the door was closed. Nobody stole that. Nobody steals anything here. The door is closed. But this is a €300 watch, but like maybe a 300. There are watches that they are worth $200,000 or $100,000. So if somebody knows, oh, look at that, that watch is worth $100,000. Somebody will break that house, no matter how safe it is. They may go there and steal that $100,000, and maybe not because they're going to make $100,000 out of it. They're going to sell it for $5,000, but it's still $5,000. So whatever. So every time when you are on a higher level of economic speaking, of money and stuff, it is an entire new world, and that's what everybody sees on the news. All the white collar crimes, how politicians steal each other, all the fraud that happens in corporations. All this awful news we see on the news all the time. It's because you're talking big amounts of money and people take the risks. I don't know what's the problem. I don't know what happens in people's mind, but they do take the risks. So if they're talking, if it's $100,000 or $100,000, they will take the risk. So, and that's what I'm facing now, and that's why it's what happened to me was the looting. My problem with the gangsters that attacked me last year it's still okay, because I managed to leave that situation and be safe. But my problem is the suppliers that I was working with last year, and unfortunately on a white collar level I was victim of looting. Okay, looting, saccheggio in Italiano, saqueio in Portuguese, saqueo in Espanol. Looting, and I will get my phone. Let's move, please. I'll get my phone. So we're also doing Thai, because now we go into Thai language and also Arabic, because this video is being used by the Thai authorities, the Arab authorities, and the English speaking, the Portuguese speaking, and everybody speaking all the languages, because this is international. So about this case, so these are my products. These were made in Thailand. I sold thousands of dollars of this, like very big contracts. I have clients that they send photographs to me. They want the same product, and I'm sending emails to these factories that they don't send the product because they took the decision to go through a different method of work, and which is not my work. It's not how I work. But so these are different versions. Okay, this is in Dutch. This one is in Dutch too. Dutch. That one's in Arabic. It's a fantastic product, very successful. I sold massive amounts of that product. This one is in Arabic too. These are all the lawsuits. Okay, Thailand, Brazil, USA. Here, these are the lawsuits. We're filing all of them. Again, this is Saturday. These are the samples. I have them all stored for all those gangsters that they think they are going to get along with this. Even this one. This is in the police reports. It's an evidence of the product. It has the dates and everything. It shows for how many years I've been traveling the world selling this cheese. Also, this was made by the Vencatos in Brazil. They also included in the lawsuits. This business is the craziest part, successful. I've selling millions of dollars, but unfortunately, they overpowered me and they took the decision to really go through illegal manners and doing all this laundering, all these crimes. And so I'll talk about the last batch of documentation. The last batch of documentation. Go to the meeting room here. The last batch of documentation about this case. So, and I'll get my phone. Yeah, forgot about that. Got my phone here. So we finish this case as soon as possible. At least I hope they all get arrested. Unfortunately, I am frustrated with the authorities because they're not that familiar with all the problems the internet's causing. They are not familiar. They are being a bit too old-fashioned. That's my conclusion. They're being too old-fashioned for the world of the internet. If you are in 2019, if everybody's partying, playing over the internet, doing whatever they want, I think it's absolutely the time that the military and all the police is to really be involved on everything that's going on over the internet, but bust the entire internet. It's if you're using the internet, I don't know, it came to a level that I think internet should be considered as illegal as cocaine, to be honest, and drugs should be just by using the internet. You should be arrested, whatever, investigated. Where did you get that phone? Did you get it in a real store? So it's an industry that's really a fiasco. It's a fiasco. It's a bullshit. I'm sorry. I try not to say bad words. Look. So let's put here. So we speak in Thai too. There's this app here that allows us to talk in different languages. Bluetooth. So let's see. So it's another phone. This is an iPhone. Has to be the Android. Has to be the Android. Oh, I'm doing this alone. I'll explain to you, okay? Because sometimes I often call it so many names. I do have my team. I have people asking me for jobs night and day. Everybody knows I'm an employer, but he's working as security. The current guy who's assisting me with all he has to pay his bills. And I don't blame him. I don't blame the lawyers either who are asking for payments up front. I did have a very well successful lawyer that she said that my problem is that I gave credit and I shouldn't have given credit. That credit, it's bull today. It's asking for problems because people just don't pay. That's why they don't give you credit, because they don't pay. So he's working as security, making maybe $20 tonight or something. I should be my work's way. It'll be a higher skill. The pay would be higher. but everybody's working on gigs and getting. But that's been to a lot of different companies are facing the same problem I'm facing. So let's see now some Thai. So let's go Thailand. So I see maybe I help the Thai authorities because a lot of the guys that don't speak English, and then they get reduced to those English speaking people in Thailand because I've been to Thailand 3 times. I was there for the first time speaking only English, and I managed really to have a very good perception of Thailand and as a country. The king was still alive, I think, when he was just passed away. But you know, on business you end up trapped with people that do not represent the entire country, but yeah, they are there and they should be really condemned and punished, because it's a very bad reputation for Thailand on matters that they really mean something. You don't go to a country and you bring to them over like $10-20 million on business and you treat it the way I've been treated in Thailand by business owners. Not about one other Thai people that I've been in contact, but by business owners. Like I'm talking about the owners of factories, owners of farms, owners of buildings. How they treat you and the way they look. There is a woman that she even threatened that she would call the police to report me, but she sent such an email that is like, so it made me feel a bit compassion for poor Thai people, because probably that's how she treats them too. Because it seems there was a girl that she even lost her job because of my business, and that's not what I sell. She was the export manager. Her name was Yuchana, and I think she was fired. She was fired because she was probably trying to protect me and make these people pay me, and then she just fired her. But anyways, I hope she's going to be arrested, condemned, and at least I hope this company is blacklisted in Dubai. That's also something that I'm doing. I'm reporting all these companies in the United Arab Emirates. For some reason, the United Arab Emirates is the country where all the food business is being conducted today. So I'm reporting. That's why the last batch of documentation was all done in Abu Dhabi at the American Embassy. So it's valid in the United States and also in Abu Dhabi, has value there. So I'm going to send copies of all documentations to the police in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai, so those companies they do not get involved. So I have a client calling here, put him on video maybe so he can watch. So I keep recording here. So this is going to be in Arab. So here I am reporting once again all the crimes conducted against my person in 2018, which were fully reported in the United Arab Emirates. Last week at the American Embassy, we've made this new batch of documents. It's a 7-day demand letters. 7-day demand letters is an official legal document where I notify against the defense about the amounts they owe me, and the correct that they should call me and say it come to an agreement about how much they want to pay, how they want to pay, what they want to do. And if there is no answer from them, it just means that they are criminals and they have to be arrested, because if they do not manage to really understand the validity of a 7-day demand letter written and testified at an American embassy, means they are sociopaths. They are working against the law, and probably there's way more behind what I faced, because they probably are doing a massive amount of crimes in Thailand, in Libya, in Brazil, in the United States. So this is going to be in Arabic now. Let's see.
لذا أنا هنا أقوم بالإبلاغ مرة أخرى حول ما هي التاجات التي أجريت ضد شخصيتي في عام 2018 والتي تم الإبلاغ عنها بالكامل في الإمارات العربية المتحدة هذا الأسبوع في السفارة الأمريكية مع مجموعة كبيرة جديدة من الوثائق وهي خطابات طلب لمدة 7 أيام 7 خطابات وثيقة رسمية أخطر فيها الدفاع عن المبالغ المدينون لي بها والصحيح أنه ينبغي عليهم الاتصال.
يقولون إنك توصلت إلى اتفاق حول مقدار ما يريدون دفعه كيف؟ يريدون دفع ما تريد القيام به وإذا كان هناك لا جواب منهم فهذا يعني فقط أن المجرمين ومن ثم يجب القبض عليهم لأنهم إذا لم يتمكنوا من فهم تنوع خطاب الطلب لمدة 7 أيام مكتوب في شهادة السفارة الأمريكية يعني أنهم اجتماعيون يعملون ضد القانون وبروفيدنس أكثر من ذلك بكثير وراء ما أواجهه لأنهم ربما أقوموا بعدد كبير من الجرائم في تايلاند في أولمبيا في البرازيل أو في الولايات المتحدة.
Okay, so so now let's go. Let's make in Thai language now. So I help the lawyers in Thailand. And then Portuguese. Thailand.
ดังนั้นที่นี่ฉันรายงานอีกครั้งในสิ่งที่มีการดำเนินการกับคนของฉันในปี 2018 ซึ่งมีการรายงานอย่างเต็มรูปแบบในสหรัฐอาหรับเอมิเรตส์ในสัปดาห์นี้ที่สถานทูตอเมริกันที่มีเอกสารชุดใหม่ที่สำคัญเอกสารอย่างเป็นทางการที่ฉันแจ้งการป้องกันเกี่ยวกับจำนวนเงินที่พวกเขาเป็นหนี้ฉันและความถูกต้องที่พวกเขาควรจะโทรหาฉันและบอกว่าคุณมาตกลงกันว่าพวกเขาต้องการจ่ายเท่าใดพวกเขาต้องการจ่ายสิ่งที่คุณต้องการจะทำอย่างไรไม่มีคำตอบจากพวกเขามันแค่หมายความว่าอาชญากรและพวกเขาจะต้องถูกจับกุมเพราะถ้าพวกเขาไม่สามารถเข้าใจความหลากหลายของจดหมายเรียกร้องวันที่เขียนในสถานทูตอเมริกันที่เป็นพยานหมายถึงพวกเขาเป็นนักสังคมสงเคราะห์ที่ทำงานผิดกฎหมายและสุขุมอยู่เบื้องหลังสิ่งที่ฉันเผชิญเพราะพวกเขาอาจจะฉันทำอาชญากรรมจำนวนมากในประเทศไทยในโอลิมเปียในบราซิลหรือในสหรัฐอเมริกาดังนั้น
So this is another letter, like it's been one full year. I've been sending all the documentation to the companies involved. What you see here is the first one. You see Vaial and Fayed and pictures from TMP Rice Mill. They're based in Bangkok. They are notified in September 2018 about the problems I was having. This is a document that was made in the American Embassy in Dublin. So they're all fully notified. There is police reports. There's everything. They were fully notified. This is the other company. Shows even more money than rice mill. Yuchana, Somchai, and Narimon. They are executives of Mass Choices. It's a tuna factory. They owe me $123,000, and so this is the last set of documents. So now let's see Portuguese. This is Portuguese. So we help the legal system in Brazil to really make the prosecutors there to pay
Então, aqui estou relatando mais uma vez quais são as coroas conduzidas contra minha pessoa em 2018, que foram totalmente relatadas nos Emirados Árabes Unidos nesta semana na Embaixada Americana com grandes novos lotes de documentos. É uma demanda de 7 dias. Um documento oficial em que notifico contra a defesa os valores que eles me devem e o correto que eles devem me ligar e dizer que você chega a um acordo sobre quanto eles querem pagar. Como querem pagar, o que você quer fazer, e se há não há resposta deles, apenas significa que os criminosos e eles devem ser presos porque, se não conseguirem entender a diversidade de uma carta de demanda de 7 dias escrita em testemunho da Embaixada Americana, significa que são sociopatas trabalhando contra a lei e a providência muito mais por trás do que eu encaro. Porque eles provavelmente estão cometendo uma quantidade enorme de crimes na Tailândia, no Olímpia, no Brasil ou nos Estados Unidos, então.
Tá boa a tradução, dá para entender. Ou é muito burro para não entender, ou é bandido mesmo, criminoso, ou burro ou bandido. Again, if the people from TMP, rice mill, Vaial, Pintas, if they do not understand, either they are stupid or they're criminal, gangsters. Okay, there's only 2 options. Either you're very stupid or you're just a gangster and a criminal. In both cases, you're going to pay, all right? And the same thing for the people in Texas, Jamey Williams, Logan Williams, and Carolyin Williams. If you do not understand, after hundreds of messages, hundreds of papers and emails, and then either you're very stupid or you're just a criminal, a sociopath, and in both cases you should be behind the bars until we have time maybe to read everything. I do pray that all of you are going to be arrested and that you are going to receive my package, because once you guys are behind the bars, I'm going to do this for you, maybe as a compassion. I'm going to make like I will photocopy everything. I'll go for maybe 10 years of work, so you guys can maybe read and understand. You have a lot of time there. You're going to have a lot of time there to read and go through all the papers. You're going to read all the emails again. Maybe get emails in Spanish, in Portuguese. You have a dictionary, you translate, and then you learn. You're going to have time to really, because either you're very stupid or you're just a criminal gangster. So in both cases, you have to pay somehow. And so this new batch of demand letters is basically a restatement of the debt that these guys have with me. The criminal aspect is looting. My company was looted. For somebody who does not understand white collar crimes, it's easier. There was a supermarket in Dublin that was looted last year. Dublin received this snow that was not very common. So the city of Dublin in Ireland, Europe, was covered with snow about this high, like this high, like huge. So what Dubliners did, they took a tractor, and because there were no employees, no security, no police, I mean there was few police, but it was snowing a lot, so they have the courage to take a tractor and destroy this construction and go inside the supermarket and loot the supermarket. So I was victim of the same crime. This problem I mentioned at the beginning of the email about these gangsters in Dublin attacking me and all my how I was frightened that I should even be victim of physical crime against me. This girl that she blocked my passage on the street. I was not able to work. I was working. I worked 10-12 hours a day, and with the internet, you need to be online. You need to be answering the emails all the time. And if your client calls, you need to call. But I was not able to, and I had to move my office. The police assist me on that, but the suppliers, the people I reported to the authorities, are not the gangsters in Dublin. They were reported as the problems were happening because, and then I managed to get that solved out under my umbrella. So the problem was solved. Like the snow in the supermarket, the next day the snow was not there, you know, like was not snowing anymore. The supermarket, they probably already rebuilt the supermarket, and the supermarket is back on working. Okay, so that's the same thing myself and my business. In I would say 2-3 weeks, let's say 4 weeks, I managed to get the problem solved. I went back to my office because I was not in Tala. I had my contract with a landlord in my office in Clonshack in North Dublin. I worked from Clontarf, a different office. I was carrying all my samples, all my documents, all my contracts, everything. But I was surprised, and that's when real life shows up, sometimes not the way we expect. I'm not in a position to laugh about this, and that's when I noticed that all these beautiful people that I've been traveling the world, telling that their rice was better than the other rice, that this company was a good company because they're very good people, because Vaial, she's a beautiful Thai girl, very well educated, she speaks perfect English, she went to school in Singapore, and she has her assistant, Pintas, also very well versed, very good. The documentation is perfect. They do all the documents very fast. The factory has capacity to make 80 containers a day. You know, I've been talking to hundreds of people, and even involving other people to also work, other workers to be doing this and spreading the news about how successful I was. I made this, making videos, promoting this online, registering the brand. These brands are all registered. Going to trade shows, carrying my bags everywhere, explaining how good this product is and everything. And her uncle, that she says is the owner, I forgot his name, I met him a couple of times. He even asked me to do West Africa, that I should also try to sell to Togo. We managed to have some shipments there, but this is what I got. I was looted by TMP Rice Mill, and they have two names, TMP Rice Mill and Cheeva Rice. They simply cut me off and start doing business with my clients direct. Then my clients don't talk to me anymore. They just don't answer my emails. I tell them to give me credit. They don't give credit. They never did. And actually, the first business with them was exhausting. They took about 6 months to make the first shipment, and what they had, and they said that on black and white several times, that they could not give credit to me because they have no guarantees that I'm going to pay. So even if I had the money on my name in a bank in London, but for banking procedures I cannot transfer to them before they ship, so they said I was not going to pay once they ship. So for that reason they forced me to make them ship on my behalf and pay my markup after that. But they didn't commit. They did that for 2-3 shipments, 5 shipments, and then they stopped. And now they do business with my clients based on slandering and defamation, which is the part that I really do not even want to think about. I was accused of all sorts of lies and about me and my personal. It was horrible, and that's so I was being attacked by gangsters on my office, and I was being attacked by clients and suppliers, slanders, kind of saying, "Oh, Augustin list, let's take him out of the business." It's like that was looting. Also, another company that did the same thing was a slate manufacturer in Brazil, Alexandre Almeida. He made me work for hours once he was set in $1.5 million of results and shipping. He basically started talking to my clients direct and saying, and then at some point they talking, criticizing my work, criticizing. I was having a lot of problems with these gangsters in Dublin, and their reaction was just to say, "Oh, we don't need you anymore. I'm the one who created the whole thing, and I work on this late. I work since 2004. Like, I know the business more than Brian Phillips, because I was in the Las Vegas and I know him face to face. I was working with his father for 2 weeks in 2004, then 2015, 2005 again in Las Vegas. I know all those clients face to face, and even though they really, for the money, they decided to cut me off to business direct, and why I was being victim of all these gangsters in Dublin. And then when I was reporting all of them, I said, okay, because this is also my opinion, because I'll say that at the end. Also, the other company was Texas, the Williams. Williams, I think, was more of an orchestrated crime, because the Williams, the first interaction I had with that company was in 2011. I wanted to buy 100 containers times, so it was $5 million on cheese from Whitehall Specialties in Wisconsin, and Autumn is the executive, the sales executive. She imposed that they have a modus operandi that I had to buy from Sunny Morning, which is a distributor in Florida. That was 2011 or 2012. So I started to work on that project, following the instructions that they gave me, because I wanted to just buy cash and ship 15 containers every month from Wisconsin to Africa. And they said no. They said I had to go to the distributor in Florida because they're very serious. And then I, okay, with all this, I do the first purchase in Florida and at Sunny Morning. And surprisingly, at the time I went, and there was a colleague on that time, he was with me at that time. I made this check to pay the 30% as agreed, and then they changed the price. They increased the price. They made something crazy. We had to ship rice instead, which was very shady. It seems that was the first time that Whitehall was trying to embezzle me and try to investigate. Probably they were trying to find access to what I do. There was, who's this guy who comes with $5 million order, and probably that's what it seems to me, based on what happened in 2018. Once after, because I was taking everything on good faith up to what happened in 2018, so that's why I invested so much time on that business. I worked on that business for 2012 to 2018, 6 years. I have invested maybe $100,000, I would estimate, total on Wisconsin and Finance, Whitehall, and Sunny Morning project. And I've been to Dubai 3 times carrying the samples. And then in 2014, because I gave up that business with the case, this company, they approached me in Dubai at the Gulf Food. I was there exhibiting, and they offered this option, which was a new option, which is buying through the Williams in Plano, Texas, instead of Whitehall, Wisconsin, instead of Sunday Morning, Florida. And then I was with a guy who was Alex Vargas, who was working in my company, and he was there in Dubai on that show. Okay, so we started supplying. We are buying and selling, and obviously, as everything I do, we reached again the $5-6 million, which we had already in 2012. It took 4 years more, and again we're there. But then is when they committed these criminal activities that I was victim of, and they were probably waiting for the right moment, and it was when this gangster attacked me there in Dublin in June 2018. And then I was shocked because I took a plane to Plano. I went personally. I went from Dublin to Dallas after suffering all the problems I was facing. I managed to go to Texas and talk to these people face to face, and you do not want to be in my shoes. They orchestrated a meeting, and they were slandering and defaming myself to myself. I was listening to slandering and defamation about me to myself. they were criticizing my work. They were, oh, you don't know to do. I'm the one who teach them how to do a lot of. There's no comments. They even mentioned about my citizenship status in the USA. That was not American. I heard all sorts of slander and defamation. They would accuse me that I would steal money from clients and run out of the countries, and a lot of they're very violent, very aggressive. And even though still in good faith, I tried to keep control of everything that was happening, and unfortunately I was not getting feedbacks from my clients, and that's why, because they were all talking direct and talking behind on the scenes, and saying all sorts of lies and defamations, explaining why you should not talk to me, which is diluting. And I went to the police, obviously, when the crimes were being conducted by the Williams in Plano, and I'm shocked with the police. Unfortunately, look, I know it's over the news. I respect the work of the police. I think the police do focus on crimes against life, and the police do focus on standard, because they get crazy calls of crazy people. There's a massive amount of drugs in the United States, unfortunately, and that's their focus. I know that. So that happened. That when I came there, and I was being robbed $100,000 that day. That I actually was 55 on that day. I was still making the calculations, and I tried to explain to them. They did not understand. They were basically, all they wanted to know is like who I was from, what I was doing there. And I have a mountain of documents. And the suppliers here, they are stealing me as we're talking. They're talking to my clients. They're stealing my contracts. They're cutting me off. They're doing slander and defamation. And obviously I was crying. I think there's lots of videos in the police stations and in the embassies about me crying and signing documents. I see the empathy of the workers and how important everybody feels, and frustrated with the legal and the criminal system, the authorities. You know how weak we all feel, because you see all these crimes happening, and with this guy here again, it's been 1 year that has been, and all the authorities fully reported, and these people are still really, they do not pay. And I have a lot of police officers and public employees of the courthouses, but why they don't pay? Why they do this? You bring to them a successful business. They're making $8 million, $10 million. You're the sales guy. Why they do this? Why? Why they just don't pay your commissions? Why? Why being so bad? Why being so negative? Why making the world such a... But then I answer, it's the same thing. Why there's so many... There's a notion of plastic in the Pacific, and everybody, why the bees are going extinct? It's the same thing. I don't know. It's a dark age in history. Like, you do things beautiful, success, but people do not... They don't appreciate it. They don't. I don't know. They want to turn it back to the negative, to something bad, ugly. You know. And maybe to get this quick $100,000, buy the new car that they are advertising on TV, that they need to buy it. They need to buy it immediately. They need this new car to show off over in the weekend, or you show off in 1 week. But this business took like 20 years to build, and 6-7 years. The cheese business, 6-7. Actually, I had it like in 2000. It was cash payments, was something they chose. So, you know, it just shows that was premeditated. They basically just wanted to steal from there. Maybe they made their fortune this way, stealing, scamming, and defrauding others. So they don't know how to make it different than that. So they really had all this attention on me. Who is this guy? How come he managed to have these clients? And so they orchestrated this thing against me for 5 years. And well, and the other company is a company that it's in Brazil. They defrauded me. Same thing. It was 2016. So I included them in the package because it's all the same thing. It's all about paying my commissions. Somebody who says that I'm always with the same type of problems, but it's because I work with sales, and it's very hard to really get paid. And other professions that have this problem, we've been victimized a lot by the internet. because we work, but then, you know, comes an advertising, they say, what's up, you can make calls all over the world and it's free. And then they go and they call your clients and they say lies about you, and they cut you off, they forward their invoices. There was a gangster in Libya that he defrauded my invoices. This email came back to me. It was on my invoices. He just changed the product. He was applying for credit at a bank in New York called ABC New York City, ABC Bahrain. It's an Arab bank. They're very big. And they're applying for credit there, for letter credit, whatever, you know, with invoices with my name, but with different product, but was not me, whatever, you know. So it is the internet, the problems of the internet. So this guy, so these are the defendants, okay? This is the list of people of the current lawsuits, that the cases are not closed yet. This is the list. It's a big list. It's a big list. There are defendants in Brazil, Thailand, America, and USA. America, Brazil, Thailand. No, America, Brazil, Thailand. So, on the cheese crimes, okay, it's crime. I keep it crime because when you say civil, it goes way too complicated. It's not. It's just criminal. It's theft. It's just white collar version of it, but it's theft. It's crime. Sometimes some jurisdictions call persuasion crime, opportunity crime. It's stealing. It's stealing. It's a crime of stealing. You're stealing. You can steal information, you can steal objects, you can steal a lot of things. And so in this particular case, there are financial crimes, and if somebody's listening, that's people partying here Saturday night, okay, and this is my Saturday night, okay. So $99,000. Oh, because yeah, that's what where the figures come from. That's the question, okay. Where do the figures come from? And maybe I do this in Thai, in Portuguese, and in Arabic. The figures come. I have my business running. I'm selling all these millions of dollars. In this today, 2019, obviously this will be multiplied. If in 2 years you're selling $3 million, I mean, in 4 years, now it'll be 5 million, 8 million, you know. But they took the decision to cut me off and do all the slander and the defamation of the problems against me in 2018. What does that mean? At some point, when I don't see that I'm involved anymore on that business, I said, okay, you took the decision to cut me off, but can we at least pay the current open bills? So these amounts are about an X-ray of what was happening when my business was looted. So I was shipping $1 million, $2 million, $10 million, and then my business was looted. Then at that moment I made an X-ray about what I was doing on that month. The contracts that were happening, the contracts that had been shipped, and everything. So the cheese business, there were 3 shipments. I'm not even talking about the fee. There were other shipments. There were others of $500,000, others $1 million. They were coming. I said, can you pay what you owe me now and let me go? I accept that you guys do not want to work with me. You guys don't like me, whatever. You guys took the decision, whatever, cut me off. Maybe you guys believe of the slandering or the defamation against me. But is that okay if you guys pay? You guys did not give credit to me. I gave credit to you. Is that okay if you guys pay for somebody who gave credit to you? For somebody who worked for 6 years, who you're like blessed, they're sitting on millions of dollars on sales. Is that okay if you guys pay at least for the current 3 contracts that are open? So that was since as they were happening, which was September last year. $99,062.61. I do not know, because it's not of my competence to really investigate and understand what sort of association Whitehall Specialties, Wisconsin Finance, and Sunny Morning have. I have done business with the 3 companies. My initial contact was Whitehall Specialties in Wisconsin. For what reason they said no, they were not going to give me those, to sell those 100 containers I ordered in 2012. Why they induced me that I should go to Sunday Morning. Why Wisconsin Finance is the company taxes. It's not my business. It's their business. I was just a client. I purchased products. We did all this massive amount of business, but then they overpowered me, and then in July they took the decision to do whatever they did. But I have been requesting for 1 year now for them to pay at least for the contracts that were open. That was not paid. They're not answering. They're not responding. It's been 1 year that it's lawyers and police officers and embassies requesting more further documentation about this, and this payment hasn't happened. So so the names are Mark Berg, Mark Berg even made a meeting. He made somebody call him, and he made me send a massive amount of documents by registered mail. Once we were going to have this conference call, and that was in March, and he just doesn't show up. He doesn't answer the call. It's nasty, but the authorities are going to take care of him. I pray for that. So Mark Berg, Autumn Tallman from Whitehall Specialties, they live in Wisconsin. The guys in Texas, they live in Plano, Texas. Jamey Williams, Logan Williams, and Carolyin Williams. The guys of Sunday Morning, they Fort Lauderdale. Their office is just a few blocks from my office in Fort Lauderdale. That's the trickiest. That's the most strange part. Why they're not involved? Why they're not talking? Why they're trying to do the bait and switch problem in 2012? Neil Hamilton, Ken Carlson, and Steve Buckley. They operate in Orlando and Fort Lauderdale. So there's the contract numbers, the L722, L745, L780. So that's the cheese. Then there is the next, which is the slate business. That is the slate for billiard pool tables. It's the slabs of slates that I have worked myself in those. I was personally for 2 years in those quarries in South Brazil, in Central Brazil. It's called in the state called Minas Gerais. I've been personally in Las Vegas to shows in 2004 and 2005, the Billiard Congress of America. So the name of the defendants is Alexandre Almeida and his brother Alexandre Almeida. They even had the courage to make slandering and defamation with a local lawyer. They hired a local lawyer. It's HLL Advogados. They are in Belo Horizonte, Brazil. And they wrote a legal official letter saying that I should be arrested. I should be arrested because I was asking for them to pay me, basically. And which is it's a threat, but it's a threat made by gangsters. They're basically Jamey Williams did that too in Plano, Texas. He told me that in America he could put me in jail in 1 day, and I don't know really why they do this with salespeople. Why they think that we're this is stupid or naive or stuff. I think it's our job to be smiling. I don't know. That's what we are. It's not me. I think it's a sales people class. We always have this young, happy. We tell the jokes. We entertain everybody. It's our nature. It's what we like. But that does not mean we're stupid. That does not mean that we really would believe that I don't think even I don't know. I don't think can say about what country you can just call the police and they will arrest somebody because you want to. You know, I've never seen that in my entire life. But it is said they did threaten me that, and they did that. But then I wonder what sort of lawyer are these in Brazil that they just oh, can you please just write this on a letter, and they just write a letter saying whatever you want, like but that also goes on against them. They probably will increase because that's an official evidence of the criminal activities conducted by this company. It's Ardozia Figueiredo. They also operate under two names, Ardozia Figueiredo Almeida and Grupo Minar. And then there is a list of American companies. They all are related to the same case, which is American Heritage, Watson's, Universal Pool, Maxud's Presidential Billiards, American Heritage Billiards, Diamond Billiards, Plank and Hyde, Allstate. All these companies, they buy as a group, and they're all I hired a sales rep. His name is Brian Phillips, and he is the one who was conducting all this the sales with those guys. But we working as a team, and I was managing everything. I hired Brian Phillips. I contacted him. I told, because Alexandre Almeida did not want to pay him, and I said that no, that I was going to share my commissions with him, and I was going to work with him. But then one day, with all the problems I was having in Dublin, and when my office was being looted, right, and those gangsters from Tala, Dublin, Ireland, and so one day Brian Phillips says the clients are requesting Augustin not to work in the project anymore. So, and I was increasing, I was giving solutions, I was already hiring a third person. That's the question mark that everybody does. But you create a business of $1.5 million. Then you're having problems. You hire one person to expand the business, and in 2019 they would be now serviced with maybe $3 million. And even, I mean, I have a mountain of documents that was between July to September explaining. This guy is the guy I hired was Richard, I think his name, and he lives in Houston, in Texas, and he speaks Brazilian Portuguese. He understands logistics. They said no, and instead of that, they said Brian Phillips says, and I have a print screen. There's evidences. I mean, because now I need to prove everything. It's crazy. He said because there's so much slander and defamation. It's unbelievable. They say it's not whatever, but brokers, you know, but. He says that the clients are requesting me not to be involved anymore. So even there's no comments. I have no words to express my comments about. But I said, okay, that's you guys agree. So let's pay the bill. And they said, what bill? What do you mean about what bill? Do you think I was working for free? For what? For 2 years? You guys being serviced with all this bill, and you guys say, oh no, I don't want him anymore. Let him just go. No, so here's again, I do the x-ray, and I said, okay, one more for the looting. Okay, so I was looted by the cheese people, so I was looted by the slate people. Okay, so that's us. He said that the clients were requesting the presidential billiards, the Brian, he says that Diamond Billiards, Presidential Billiards, American Heritage, that they are the ones who were requesting to terminate the contract. And so I make this action, which is a normal agreement that says, okay, so now we transfer the contract to Brian, and please pay the bill. How do you plan to pay the bill? And then I'm in these circles of like a ping pong where you have the Americans and the Brazilians say that the responsibility is the Brazilians and the responsibility is the Americans. And they're saying, everybody say, can somebody just pay the bill? So I start, at some point, as my payments were coming from Brazil, I agree that the payment should come from Brazil, but then Brazil says that no, that the payment comes from the USA because the Americans are the one who requested to terminate the contract. So at some point, I don't care. I just want them to pay. It doesn't matter to me. It comes from the USA, it comes from Brazil. So I send a very elegant letter to all the beneficiaries of the contract with all these companies in the USA saying, please pay your percentage. So I split American Heritage. It seems about half of the contract was American Heritage, was Anthony Pucci and Joe Pucci, the Pucci family. I don't know who owns precisely American Heritage. They are the ones who are being benefited about $20,000 of the contract. So everybody pays, and then it's a voucher and a discount. And when you send your payments to Brazil, you just deduct that amount that confirms that that part of the payment was already done. But somebody has to pay. Somebody took the decision to terminate the contract, to purchase the contract, since they want a product. So that you pay. You pay. My agreement with Alexandre was that I was working, I invested for 1 year. Because sales, they don't start from in 1 day. If you want to have some sales, it takes like a year, 2 years, 3 years. Like the cheese took 5 years of work. So then you pay. You go there and you make a payment. I work with sales. I know that a sales only finish once you receive a payment. So All these people are receiving my payments from my customers and they just don't pay me. It doesn't make any sense. You have to pay. It's the simple, P-A-Y. There's a lot of options online, wire transfer, product. I have a case. There's a Mexican American family from Texas. They did the same type of crimes. Was in 2015. That's something that a lot of these guys, they don't know, and I explain. I send them links. I send my resume. I do this for 26 years. There's a guy, he's in jail. He's in jail now. He made this. He went up being he's busted, whatever. He's in jail. There is another guy, he's in jail too in Tennessee. There is another guy from Pennsylvania that one guy's in jail in Florida, another guy's in jail in Kentucky. There's another guy that we managed to get the problem sorted out with the authorities. The police got involved too. Was in Pennsylvania. And same thing is import-export. It's always this. So the other guy, there was this other guy, Texas, was a family Mexican-American. The guys in Pennsylvania, they were Libyan-Americans. The guy in Kentucky was from California. The guy from Florida was Puerto Rican-American. And the guy in the family in Texas, they were Mexican-American. It took me like a year of work, this. So, and then and explain again, and then they were in trade shows. I have to do the entire package and send to the authorities, for example, and then they paid me. The way they decided to pay was through products. I even offered this to the cheese people in January, February. I sent them an email because I got more orders. The funny thing is that I have clients calling me night and day asking for these products. All these products are still on my website. I still receive leads and inquiries, and they want to buy the products. And I don't know what to answer. That's why you have the compensation, so the damages and losses, which means this is the face value of what they owe me, but then I have all the damages and losses too. And then by American laws is 100% on top of the amount embezzled, and there's the cost, the court fees, and all that. The things that on court they can consider just the commissions or the entire contract. So, for example, the billiard pool people, it can manage the Brian Phillips, Alexandre, and Tony Pucci. They were trying to embezzle not the $47,000 that they owe me, but the $1.5 million contract that they tried, or they did, because I don't know what's going on. This company has been 1 year that I don't talk to them. All I talk to them is my lawsuits, my notification letters, my demand letters, and police, whatever, because I don't know really, like, I don't know what they're doing now. It's not my business. They already took their decision. And then the last two here, the next two is the Thai people, the rice supplier and the tuna supplier. As they were very professional in the way they embezzle me. It's very sophisticated white collar crime. I'm working with estimates. As I know, I have applied for millions of dollars in sales for those companies. I estimated a 30% only success case on clients that they purchased the products and they received payments on my behalf, and I'm requesting the commissions on an estimation of 30%. So it's on the ball is in their court. They are the ones who need to come with what exact figures they did. Once these companies are going to be busted, they will come. It's very simple. They with the bank statements, and you see all the shipments to the countries where I work, and then who's the client, how much money did you receive, and then they need to pay my commissions shipment by shipment, and so the company is Vaial, Limphaisansakul, Pintas. They were the export managers that were taking care of my account. They are the ones who took the decision to talk direct to my clients and do the embezzling and the defamation, and they did not give me credit when I requested. I gave credit to them, and this is where I am now. The other company is Mass Choices, is a tuna manufacturer. Yuchana, Somchai, Naramon, they embezzled big money from me. There is a third supplier in Thailand, but The other cases, they're more blurry, and this was very black and white, so I didn't mention the other suppliers because it's going to make it more complicated, but this is very simple. And then the last one is the Vencato and Virginia Souza Lima. Same problem, was in 2016, the same problem. They went over the internet, it was chaotic. I had a 4 million running business with them, and my brand's super popular. Every clients they just want to ship. You're on the trade, commerce. Everybody just wants solutions. They just wants to receive a payment receiver. But then they took the decision to do the same thing, the same pattern the others did, to grab a free WhatsApp phone call and call your clients, or even the opposite, when a client calls them because they think it's such an opportunity to steal, and they say, "Oh, Augustin is not here." "Oh, yeah, Augustin's not, but how can I help?" "Oh, yes, he's horrible." "Yes, how can I help you?" That's what happened. So it's a crime. It's called, in criminology, you have active corruption and passive corruption. A lot of times when you have criminals that they say, "I didn't steal anything. The client, he called me and they said that he does not want to talk to Augustin." It's passive corruption, and you can't blame yourself passive, that you were passive, that you're not the active part of this crime. So you were the passive part of this crime, but it's still crime. It's stealing. It's not because the door was open. It's not because you have free WhatsApp calls, whatever, that you can really do whatever you want. It's not because email is free that you can really go and call, and so you are going to pay. In the Vencato case, I estimated $60,000 because it's 4 containers that they can end up stuck in, but it was a $4 million, and it was ridiculous. I had, like, in this case, I had a meeting in London. I have to go to London because it was so complicated, because when all these people go over the internet and they start to do this language, the defamation, share documents, it's a mess. It's a mess. And the bank in London did not know how to handle this, because João Marcos Vencato and Maria Virginia Souza Lima, they sent their invoices to the bank, assuming the bank was my clients. So my client, he had this bank had all these invoices from them. They're basically saying that to buy from them direct was like $7,000 cheaper, and the problem was I was paying $5,000 to the bank, so the banker in London was being paid by me $5,000, so I was making $2,000 on that, and that was like a 4 month of work, and they thought that I was making $7,000. So on this meeting was ridiculous, because I was like, well, they're cutting off you. They're cutting off not only me, but also you. The bank that received the invoices was being cut off. Do you understand? It's like I'm trying to steal. They're trying to steal me, but then they in such a way that they were also stealing the bank. So they were stealing both. Crimes fully reported. That's something that's very frustrating. That all those crimes were fully reported to the authorities, the Dublin, the American, and the Brazilian authorities. All of them were served with documentations. I cancel. I wouldn't say that I cancel, because I'm not the American embassy. I'm not an American, but the invitation letter for Virginia, on this particular case of 2016, they looted even my office in Fort Lauderdale. They took all my business cards for 4 trade shows. We were doing business. They took the decision to just take all this bunch of business cards and take them to Brazil, and then we have all these other problems. And then what I did was to cancel the invitation letter, because her visa to go to the USA was based on my behalf. I'm the one who wrote the letter that she applied to do this work, but unfortunately they were overpowered by evil, and they took the decision to do all these crimes, and I had to call the American embassy and request to cancel the visa, not to cancel the visa, but to cancel my letter of invitation, which is the first document for that this girl used to apply for a visa to go on a business trip to the USA. the thing is, on that document, I basically washed my hands. Unfortunately, I was victim of fraud. I did not know she was a criminal. She was a sociopath. Till you know. I wish I know. I wish I had like a crystal ball or something that would say that client is going to pay. We try to guess. You as a sales guy, you try to guess. You tend to have a good intuition because you work with people all the time. So you tend to know. I do sales for 26 years now. So a lot of times, like, I even know, that person's a doctor, that girl, she's a nurse. Like, you know by the looks, by a lot of things. So oh, that person only speaks German, that one speaks Thai too. Because it's an intuition that you develop after talking to so many people for so many years and in different languages. But still, I cannot say I know for sure. I cannot say, especially crime. I think crime is something that nobody expects. You never expects to be stolen, to robbed, embezzled. Something that nobody expects. It is very dangerous nowadays. Unfortunately, I think the internet is really the main technology, or whatever reason to really blame. That's because I do sympathize with all the authorities and the police, because there's so much crime being conducted online over the internet, that they see this case as just one more, and they're very frustrated because there's reports all the time. But it is very sad that we have all this technology, but most of the authorities, they have this problem, which I can even try to show here, which is the crimes. Look, this is the big picture. What all these people did is fraud. You can hear that fraud. See, fraud is what info, fraud, individual, but they don't know how to measure the amounts embezzled, and then I'm the one who says the contracts are all robbed and embezzled, but the location, where is it? Classification, fraud is the classification. Fraud, and location. Cyberspace, location, unspecified location. That's the number one problem with the internet. The crimes conducted by Vaial in Bangkok, by Yuchana in Bangkok, by Jamey in Plano, Texas, by Alexandre in Minas Gerais, Brazil. Those crimes, they happen in the cyberspace, but then when you really need to go, I need to file police reports in every jurisdiction. That's why I am reporting this to the embassies, to the local police. So I'm sending packages of this to the local authorities. I report also to the Malta police. There was a gangster operating from there. And so, but involves so many jurisdictions, and it is all English language. But we assume that everybody speaks English. But then in Thailand they just speak Thai, and they are familiar with English, but they speak only Thai. In Brazil, they don't speak English, so you need to translate everything, and that makes it easy for the defendants to fool around. But I have a presence in all these countries. A lot of people, they think I'm just a traveler, but look, I lived in Brazil. I have a Brazilian green card. I have Brazilian social security. I've been a resident. I studied in Brazil. I know all this. Now they're gangsters, but I'm not sure if they were gangsters or not when we started doing business. Now they are criminals. It is what it is. It's 1 year now after this massive amount of dollars. If they didn't pay, which unfortunately they were criminals, or they chose to take the risk, and now yes, they are criminals. They rob it. Once you rob, you're a criminal. I don't think there's a way back. Or maybe you come with a very beautiful apologize, or try to fix all the damages caused, but that's there. It's a criminal record. I know them face to face, all of them face to face, so several meetings, several. I went to Vaial's office. I went to her rice mill. I know them. So So and I have a Thai social security. I was there for 3 months, 3 times. I have all my immigration there. I have all my Thai documents. I have some. I never been there as a resident, but I have contract of a rental. I have my office in Bangkok. I was working there. I was a business trip. The first time I was in Bangkok, I was for 1 full month. I didn't go to the beach. I was for 4 weeks working in downtown office, hotel office, developing this business to be really, to have have a massive results and have this as a gratification. Slandering, robbed, treated really. So you're going to be punished. I'm sorry. And so Vaial, Pintas, and her uncle for all they did against me, and but I have a presence there. Brazil, I have local documents. I have relatives that they live there. I know those quarries. I work on those quarries too. So I'm just saying that I was not doing business with like random or somebody from Pakistan calls me and I'm selling Pakistani rice to. I don't do that. Okay, so I know all these companies that were working on my behalf, and the other company in Texas, same thing. I've been to Dallas several times. I know them, and I have a company in the USA. I'm registered in the USA. I have a massive amount of emails and contracts and signed with all the defendants. So it's a win case. I really don't know why they're taking the risk. Maybe they're taking the risk trusting on the fragile legal system. I think they're basically counting on against the law and the polices there in Thailand, Brazil. They're against the structure. It's not against me. They think they can get around of it. They can get along. A lot of criminals and gangsters, they believe until they get caught. I mean, that's how it works. So they think it's the police is never going to find me, and then they get caught. Okay, and their companies get busted. Usually that's in these cases of fraud. Usually it's busting. What happens? Those companies are going to be busted, because if they're doing this to me, especially for 1 full year, that they've been receiving so much communications that they don't pay, it means they're dangerous. So they're probably doing a lot of crimes to other people too, embezzling a lot of people. Then they maybe even go on the last 5 years, you know, the whole case, how they managed to do business, the whole thing. But anyways, what else? This book is just the if some of the defendants, because I'm sharing this video public, obviously it's a public, something that nobody understands, that these cases, they are public, they're not private, they're public, because there's this criminal elements, there's embezzling, there's fraud, so it's public. The more we spread out, the more safe everybody's going to be, more cautious about what happened to me. I don't wish to happen to anybody. It is of interest of the American Chamber of Commerce. It is of interest of the Thai Chamber of Commerce, even to the Brazilian Chamber of Commerce. I received calls from the Brazilian Chamber of Commerce, from the Brazilian Embassy in Washington. They're aware of the situation. They say I'm on the right path. That they wish me the best, but they're still the commerce. I'm sending also to the Thai Facts, which is a trade show where I met Yuchana from Mass Choices, so they can really investigate what class of exhibitors they have, so this does not happen again. I'm reporting this to the Thai Chamber of Commerce, so they can aware about the problems that customers are having, about the quality of suppliers that are being approved to be on those shows. Abu Dhabi was very important, because this is going to be reported to the Go Foods, so obviously Whitehall, Specialties, all these companies, they just go to the blacklist, and at least they don't involve, because I was embezzled. I was approached in Dubai and by Jamey Williams and all these people. They offered me this business there, so they applied for visas and everything. So obviously the American trade show, we need to investigate how they went to Dubai, why they went there, what sort of visa they had, you know, because you know how they're allowed if they're this class of people. And yeah, and there's police reports, And we keep going, and so if some of the defendants receive, I've sent about 30 copies of this to every individual involved. So let's say here's an example. I just grab a random. Okay, this is Jennifer Ashby from Plank and Hyde. She owes me $4,000. It's related to the Brian Phillips, Alexandre, and Tony Pucci problem. So it says again, this is the third tentative. About the amounts. Understand that this is not a simple collection debt. This is criminal. Okay, this is not because there is fraud. This is very complicated. Okay, it's not. I hope everybody understands that. So this is going to be investigated. Your company may be busted too. Because there is a lot of criminal elements, okay? In the case of the Slate people, okay? I have print screens and everything because I've been following what you guys are doing in the American market. And I see that the Slate business, the billiards, they're embezzling the retailer, the end buyer. Because they're doing fraudulent advertising, saying that the shipping for free, the cheapest price in the market. So all these names, all these words they're using in the market have to be fully audited and investigated about why a company like Plank and Hyde, Family Leisure, Watson's, why they're advertising that the shipping is free, and then they are being investigated behind the scenes by crimes of slandering, defamation, embezzling, and not paying for my company. My company, at the end of the day, is import-export would be the main, the core business. These products that come from overseas, and I have my income, and I never said I was for free. That does no. If there is something, there's something that I can guarantee is that I never say that I'm working for free. I don't think I ever did that. If I do that, I think I said that up front, and definitely it's not this. If I do something for free, I do it like as a donation, as charity. Today, for example, I gave a bag to a cancer institution here in Europe, just because I just ended up traveling. I was out of the country for 2 weeks. And then I had all these lots of clothes. When you put it all together, you think that sometimes when you're traveling, you buy a new pair of shoes, and just because on that trip, and you have a meeting and you need new shoes, but then when you're back, you end up with 3 pairs of shoes, and you don't need them. So then I usually reduce and I give away clothes, and then that's what I did today. So that was for free. So I worked. Started out all these objects, putting them together, folding those T-shirts and shirts and shoes, and this was a big case also, and then I that was for free, but not this. This has never been for free, and I don't even know why. I even disagree because I don't do that type of marketing. Myself, I don't do that. On my business model, I don't do that. I don't tell nobody that anything's for free, because I consider that fraud. I mean, also because I speak international English, which means the English I speak fits everywhere. So a lot of times, something for free in the USA works, but not outside the USA, because when I say something for free, usually it's a question mark in the United Kingdom, in India, in other countries, because like, why are you saying this is for free? So maybe it's not good quality, because if it's free, it's because you just want to get rid of it. And in America, they know it's a discount, whatever, but if you follow literally and base that you're not paying me, so it is fraud. So you are offering services for free, but you're not paying for them. You're just embezzling people in the market and not paying, and yeah, so that's the case. So I think it's all covered. I think maybe this video must be the video that makes everybody understand. Eu poderia fazer esse vídeo em português também, mas eu vou postar ele na internet. Eu acredito que é só ir na opção aí do lado ou deste lado. você vai ver que tem como subtítulos e você coloca o idioma que você quer ouvir, coloca de inglês para o português. If you do in Thailand, if you can just put the translator, and this can go in Thai, and the same thing for Arabic. You just put let me put it here, see if you see this in Arabic.
In Arabic.
In Arabic. It's 1 hour 30-minute video.
Árabe.
Arabic. So Portuguese. So Thailandese. This video is in English, but you can translate, as I'm going to make it public on the internet, and then you go maybe here or here, and then you find somewhere that you can choose the language and put it in. Again, I am going to make this video public on the internet, and then you can translate, but subtitles. It's not working really. You can make this video with subtitles on the internet, either here or there. You can have it's in English, but English to Thai.
ฉันจะให้คุณทำวิดีโอนี้พร้อมคำบรรยายบนอินเทอร์เน็ตไม่ว่าจะที่นี่หรือคุณกล้าที่จะใช้มันเป็นภาษาอังกฤษแต่แปลเป็นอังกฤษเป็นไทย
Okay, so now in Arabic. Oh my God, again. You can make this video in Arabic if you want. Just press an option on this side or this side, and then you choose the option subtitles Arabic, and you can read it in Arabic.
يمكنك جعل هذا الفيديو باللغة العربية إذا كنت تريد فقط الضغط على خيار على الجانب أو على الجانبين، ثم اخترت خيارات ترجمات باللغة العربية ويمكنك قراءتها باللغة العربية.
Ok. Em português eu mesmo falo, é só botar os subtítulos. En español también lo puedo decir. Si quieren los subtítulos en español, van en español y ponen ahí, acá, abajo o allá, y va in spagnolo. Anche in italiano, se lo vuoi fare in italiano, vai sulla sottotitoli, vai lì o lì, metti dall'inglese all'italiano, si fa la traduzione, e questo anche serve in italiano e anche altre lingue. Also other languages, francese, Deutsche. But for legal, this is in Arab-speaking countries, Thailand, Thai-speaking countries, Portuguese-speaking countries, English-speaking countries, and I hope this problem gets sorted out. Again, these letters, they do say, once again, you make the payment, and I do say, and you'll be satisfied, entire enclosed. I'm still, because I'm a deal maker, I'm still being realistic and just saying, can you just pay? This is a payment issue. You cannot really be for 1 full year and not paying, and it is going to get worse. All these cases are public, so if everybody had some hope that Augustin is going to give up, Augustin is going to this, I have contracts with lawyers already signed. This is already in their possession. So some lawyers, I like the lawyers in Thailand, they even wrote something that they're not going to give up. But that's the lawyers, they don't want to give up with the damages and losses Because me, I'm being nice. I've been saying, okay, just pay and let me go. Because I want peace. I want to go back to my life. It's 1 year, okay? I don't even want to go to tell what I've been through in this 1 year. I was supposed to visit. Guess what? I should say, I was supposed to visit my family in September last year. October. I was not. I was going to Texas trying to tell gangsters to pay me, and the whole problem. Chasing people. I went to the Caribbean. I still have rice in the Caribbean that's stuck there. Obnoxious situation. Like the most wacko situation I've ever been in my life. I still have this inventory there in the Caribbean that I'm trying to sell. Then attacked by emails, was disgusting. And I came to traumas that I would go to bookstores or libraries, and I still cry. Because I get traumas. Because to be where I am, I studied for years. I went to college. I have an MBA in Germany, and there was emails, and I explained this in several languages. All I do. This is this seems stupid, but there's Arabic, the transparent. I mean, I don't even. I have no words to express how all my intellect was treated. I have an MBA in Germany, and I speak 5 languages at the same time. And I have all this very complex work, and this is how I was compensated with slandering, defamation, attacks, being treated by gangsters, and robbed, talking to police in embassies, and crying in public and things like that. So I go to a library, and I'll stay away. I was scared about going to college. That's a level about how I end up for 1 year now. Then I'll go to a library, I'll go to a bookstore, and now I'm scared of books. I don't want to read books. I don't want to write, because I feel like, why did I study? I should just be a truck driver. I'm not saying just a truck driver is something inferior or superior. I think they're superior, they're better than me. I should have just been a truck driver, just got a truck and be driving and listening to music and do my operational manual work. I took the decision to go to college. I took the decision to study. Private college, private school, and spend thousands of dollars. Thousands, years of school, and then work. I paid half of my school. My father paid the other half of my college degree. I went to private schools. I went to public schools. And talking about, and then I see students go to school, and you don't want really. You don't want to be in my shoes to create all of this and be treated as I've been treated, and so all of you are going to pay, and are going to pay very expensive for this, very expensive. And not trusting the authorities and the legal system. We live in I believe we do live in a new dark age that's allowing all these things to happen. I think in the 90s this would never have happened. I'll be just been celebrating, because I remember when I started my career as a sales guy, that there was prizes and festivities and celebrations of success. To be a sales manager was a very good job. Now is this, everybody goes online, they cut you off, they copy and paste, they take a print screen of what you do, they share, but the laws are there. I think the internet became to this level of complexity now based on corruption, because I don't think the internet should exist. How unsafe it is and how easy it is to scam and defraud and steal. But it is still stealing. The laws are there. It's not because the door was open, and I don't believe on really locking all the doors. I believe on people like you to be arrested and condemned and punished, and the doors to continue to be open, because I think life is much easier when it's safe. So I don't trust on a system where everybody locks all their doors and everything, because it's the safest place to be used when everywhere is locked. And you are going to pay. You did steal. You did commit all these crimes. You did, and you knew it's white collar. You knew what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You cannot say, "Oh, I never knew." It's just It's just active corruption or passive corruption, or active theft or passive theft. If the initial contact was you calling my clients, or if the client contacts you, it just goes on how the process. But it's still stealing. It's still robbery. It's still criminal. It's just how it's going to be handled, and that's it, by the authorities. And yeah, and that's it. I believe there's one more here, but at this stage, after 1 year, you know, it's one more tentative. It's there, September 3rd. Today is September 14th. This letter was written 11 days ago. So let's see next week if there is any response. There's 2 hours more. This video is about 2 hours. Now it's going to take me a lot of time to really put it online and share and do the whole thing and share to the parties involved and say, is the payment there? Is the payment not there? And I tell you, I don't feel comfortable to call. I prefer to send emails and letters because I don't want to call. On this process, I hired somebody in Las Vegas, and I was on that desk, and I was listening. Not because he was in loudspeaker, but I could. You listen, but by what he answers, and then like, really? I was shocked. There was a girl, Elaine Gerber from Presidential Billiards. She said that she was finding lawyers to find a lawsuit against me. Because she was not going to pay at all, and because I was being too rude. And there was another girl, or there was, I forgot her. I have a list of this, but it was not Elaine Gerber. There was, I think, was Diamond Billiards. I think she doesn't know who I am. I never heard of that company. I don't even know who he is. And and there is like hundreds of emails and messages. She does not even know who I am. Brian Phillips is terrifying. His case is terrifying. You give a job to somebody, and he was very short. Something saying I have nothing to do with this. Whatever, it was crazy. The guy who really said on behalf of all the clients that they were requesting to cancel the contract. Anthony Pucci, and we never managed to get him over the phone. We tried to call several times, never managed to get him over the phone. The Brazilian guy, Alexandre Almeida, was a endless broker's conversation. He would go yes and no, yes and no, and yes and no, and manage in a 40-minute call not to say anything. But maybe the authorities will put things on black and white there and get this problem sorted out, because it's just that's a sociopath, I would classify, because somebody who does not even understand that he's committing a crime is a sociopath. It's dangerous and should be arrested or restrained, at least restrained. He does not have the qualifications to run a business. And yeah, and also I can't do the calls, but I think the letters and the things that is enough, and there's going to be more people calling. And I think Cassandra tried to do that from Tennessee, but she came with such a strange feedback that I don't even know what the defendants were telling, because then they come with all this slander defamation, because she came with this that she was feeling she was doing a scam, that she felt like a scammer. So probably that was the sort of slander and defamation she received from the defendants. But anyways, copies of the whole thing are going to be sent to the local polices, and I hope they just take they do their due diligences to just go bust these companies, understand what these people do, how they make their businesses, you know, what's the crack, how can you have a store and you do this behind the scenes. How do you buy a product? Just pay for what you buy. You go and you make a payment and you move on. That's how business goes. You pay. You pay electricity, you pay rent, you pay supplier, you pay everybody that works for you. You go there and you pay. You don't do this. You don't do
You don't do the whole thing, you know. I can't wait to just dump this whole thing. Okay, but I want my payments. I want my payments. This is not going to end. This is not going to end. And you guys are very lucky, because I have my feet both on the ground, and I'm a very civilized person. I'm a very civilized person, and I keep trusting the authorities. I keep trusting the legal system. I keep filing all of this. I'm giving jobs to employees in embassies. It cost me $750. A lot of money. Each document was $50. And I have to say this. Yeah, so people here don't know. They take it, it's an embassy. No, it's not. When you do notarization, it's different. When you go to like the ones in Tennessee, the documents from the Tennessee is a notarization. It's just a notary that he testifies that I am myself. So, and that's only in the USA, or in Ireland. There's some documents that were notarized in Ireland too. So basically, that's just confirming that the signature is me, and that document's value was written by me, the owner of the company. The documents in the embassy, they're more serious than that, because they have more legal. It's a certificate of acknowledgements. So this is that also that I'm saying the truth. So I'm testifying that I'm saying the truth, that I'm not making false testimony. The notary does not really get fully involved on this, but the American embassy does. So it is a legal instrument that does not only says that I'm the person who was present in Abu Dhabi signing this document. This document was made by a lawyer. Okay, it was not me. The last version is a lawyer. It's a lawyer who made the last version. You see, it's a more professional. It's more concise. Usually the ones I did, there was a lawyer. This was also there's also a lawyer who assists me on preparing that text too. Again, there's lawyers everywhere, but this document also I have to really testify that is real and legal. It's real, that I'm saying the truth. So you do that when you go to the embassy. Say, are you saying the truth? And you say, yes, I'm saying the truth. And here I say it again, I am saying the truth. Everything here is true. There's no lies. It's only when finally I'll get those hearing dates, and I'll go there, and I hope the defendants are going to be present. You guys can choose, or the court system will choose about these cases. Look, it's 2 hours that I'm talking. How long do you guys want to listen about this? For 5 minutes or 5 hours? Do you want me to start with to whom we may concern, or when I wake up in the morning? It's up to you. And how many hours? In what language? Do you want me talking Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, English? I can bring my paraphernalia here and put it in Arabic and Thai too, so we do this automatic translation, so we save some time. What sort of evidences? Doing photographs of me in Thailand, doing photographs of me working in the quarries in Brazil. Do you want photographs of me smiling with this cheese? Do you want print screens on my website? Do you want to check in my website that I have the pictures of Wisconsin finest cheese? Do you want to see the bills? How much does it cost? I have my running costs, because they see this. Oh, you're making all of this. This is my profession. It's what I do. You know how much cost I have with the travels, advertising, public, how many hours of talk. I need to go check my voice to be talking. To be on face, I cannot be two weights. I need to look good on an outfit. To really know into detail. Do you have 1 hour more? If you want to go now, I have a mountain of receipts just for the past 1 year. But I have like 6 years, 12 years, maybe 12 years. Do you want to know how much it costs to make my brain registered? Do you know how much? Do you know how much all this? Do you know the design? There's designers involved. On this one, there's the beginning. There's designers involved. The factory put it. I mean, do you really want to go through this? I mean, the other products, the tuna, and then they don't. But I didn't use his brand, whatever. There's always excuses. Oh, we change it. That's even worse. Oh, so instead of making his brand, you even made a different brand in order not to pay him. So, you know, and the case, there is a case in Brazil that he falsified the American cowboy rice. I don't have it here. He, instead of putting the American cowboy picture, he put an American flag, and he sent it to the same market to a competitor of my client. He ruined a $4 million running business because he was so into stealing. So he said yes to a client who was calling me for 1 year, and I say no, 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 because I have this client. Then he cuts me off. He contacts the factory, and the factory says yes, why not? And they copy. That was the crimes conducted by João Marcos Vencato and Maria Virginia Souza Lima. About Brazil, Brazil is a new momento. They changed governments there. Brazil was in a very dark age, and it's been 1 or 2 years now. So the criminal law, that's why it was on hold. It was fully reported to the authorities in 2016, but now I'm resending everything again, and that's why I sent more documents to them last year, because Brazil is going through a big how do you call that, busting. I think it's coming to America and to Europe too, because there's massive amount of crimes and frauds in the USA today. In Thailand, I can see by what I've been through that definitely Brazil maybe is going to be bad. It has been so bad for the past 20 years, and maybe in a few years we're going to be. I've heard that in America we're going to be surprised because they saw a lot of changes happening in Brazil. So maybe Brazil is going to come as a reference now that America. I mean, look, by what America was in the 90s to what America is nowadays, that a case like this, and that the Williams are still not, that I mean that this case is still, that, you know, that the Plano police is that everybody expects America to be so perfect and so, you know, the number one, the champions, you know, but that's the police, with all the structure they have, evolved, because, you know, in America they can really bust this company there in a minute and get access to everything so quick. But I understand the civil rights and the human rights behind, but still, you know, 1 full year, and these people are still, I mean, the thing that they had the balls to do what they did against me. And look, and I'm familiar with Texas. Like, I've been to Texas so many times. First time was 1999, Dallas. I don't know, really. I'm very pessimistic about what's going on in the USA. And it's not Donald Trump, it's not Barack Obama, it's not whatever. I just think I don't really know what's going on in the United States, or what this is happening that taking so long. I don't want to talk about American lawyers, but I got a very, very scary answers for a lot of them. But that's why we do self-representation. And you go to the courthouses, there's a lot of people doing self-representation just because the legal system is so confusing there. And then the police is the one that gets mad, because then they get overwhelmed with all the amount of work they have to do, because they're not lawyers. That's why they ask you to please go see a lawyer and try to do it to this. But then it's 1 year. That's like, so now, you know, I'm reporting to the police, because it's like, I've been talking to the police, to lawyers, and everyone that's contest more 7 days. It's not going anywhere. We're talking to gangsters, to imposters, to fraudsters. Like, these people, they should just be arrested, you know, because they're not going to cooperate with any lawyer. They're not really helping. They're cheating with lawyers too. Then the guy who's in jail in Florida now, there was solicitors involved. It cost me a lot of money, and they were just not answering the lawyers or not. He was fooling around with the lawyers. The same thing they do to me, they do to the lawyers. So anyway, so I hope this case is closed soon. But one thing I have no doubts, and I do have my faith, it's here. This is my insurance. I carry with me all the time, and I do have very good hope, and I know I know because I have my third eye. I was in India and everybody has a third eye. I know you guys are going to be punished. Like I know, I have no doubts. It may take years, but you are going to be punished. And this is personal. Don't try to camouflage to say, oh, now it's not because some gangsters, they do this. They create new companies and they change a comma. They say it's not, now it's Wisconsin with two number S's. You know, like to name letter S is YS. You know, now it just changed the name. No, it's individual. It's a person behind the scenes. And once you busted, once you have to pay, it's not that simple. You have to pay straight away. And if you don't have the money, you just go to jail. It's not that they're not really nice. They're not going to be saying, oh, you know, oh, I'm so sorry, you can't pay. Oh, you did spend the money. Oh, you did this fantastic trip somewhere. Oh, you bought this very elegant car. That's very good. Yes.